That's working. That's working. Hoo-ha. Hoo-ha. Pop, pop. Stewards report. Royal Randwick. Pop, pop. Kryptonite 1 out of 5 lame. Angel Fun trial again. Mailata. Jack. Nothing to join, Jack. There's nothing to join. Help the team, like scratching for doubt. Checking I missed nothing. Flash one. No. Going on. Shaggy disappointing. Intention dispelled. I don't know if they've confirmed that or not. Off the park. You're right, Jack. Only staring. Put a bait. We did barrier trial. Not surprising there. Steve Berry with 8 strikes and 6 strikes. Not surprising there. J Max suspended for 5 days. Doesn't miss a Saturday. Nothing surprising there. Shit, our Gold Hope 3 out of 5 lane. Didn't know that. Beautiful steer, Brendan. Beautiful steer. All right, get stuck into it. Bias. So the inside section was certainly compromised by the look of it. Again, irrigation again. So, but the track surface itself was, in the 3.5 to 4 range. So, good 4 looks fair enough. And it was just fencing run was dicey. You definitely wanted to get off the inside, but those slow tempos sort of hit it a bit. I think it was a very terrible. Oh, Rising Pacific in the last. Oh, for Scooty's horse. Jeez, he nearly gave it an unbelievable ride, and then he nearly butchered it, and then he got that run through, but it had plenty on him. So the tempos of the day sort of really masked how bad that inside potentially was, because a lot of the horses that sort of had the real soft runs in transit poked up the inside because there was no gaps opening because the tempos were so slow. So, I'd be leaning towards horses that were sort of back towards that fence in the straight, maybe a little bit more than people give it credit for, because the tempos were masking things. But, it's a bit of a weird day, so I'll just sort of get stuck into it, I think.
Waiting for the all clear. Beautiful.
No one in kick. Is the kick working? There we go. Morning, John. Scooty, there he is. Scooty is getting his arc ready for Noah's Ark later in the week. Hang on, let's check it. Let's check it, Scooty. I haven't looked at the... What about Paul Sanctuary Covey having their first golf tournament in 1,000 years? And this is where we're at Hope Island. Oh, it's looking good now. 48 mil Thursday, 219 mil Friday, 117 mil Saturday, 34 mil Sunday. Up we go. Up we go. Holy shit. Anyway. How you going, Walt? Times and proper reviews. How good were Gold Rush, Guru, Scalado, and El Morzillo? Yeah, pretty good. Gold Rush Guru I thought was unlucky, and then I watched the replay. It kind of wasn't as unlucky as I thought. The winner was probably a deserving winner. So
waiting for the all clear.
Yeah, internet. We'll have power. I went to Bunnings this afternoon. It was nice and packed in there. We start off with a bit of a epoxy race. They don't go out ridiculously slow. They slow down from the 8 to the 6, and then they come home pretty quick. The race overall, the time's pretty good, so not a bad midway. just some poor rides. So Jay tried to do the right thing early on Mogul Monarch. He does give it a dig out, and then he just over-aggressively restrains it, and that's where he costs it the race, I think. Mailata was dragged out of the race again, a bit of a forgive. Kryptonite pulled up lame. Catch the Glory is, I think, very well suited to a sit sprint. I don't think it wants any further than this. I think it was the one sort of suited by how everything unfolded to the extreme back towards the inside of the straight, and probably needs a rider change.
Who's coming across from the wide draw, looking for.
So yeah, he sort of tries to find that spot outside lead and then gives up, and then you look at him now. He's got the feet on the handlebars and he's just absolutely pulling the horse back. Look, there was no reason to go that far back. I don't believe he could have easily just slotted straight outside of Tracy Bartley's horse, 3 wide with cover, and he settles like 2-3 lengths closer for no reason. Like, why has he dragged it back that extra 3 lengths? I'm not really sure. So. The winner's back as well, but is that little stocky little Turner foot horse? So it was always going to be dangerous. Tracks through, gets the back of the winner, back of Mogul Monarch, and underneath Mogul Monarch, and then just out sprints it late. So yeah, I thought it was a really good effort from Mogul Monarch. Definitely the run of the race for mine. Not a horse that's suited back forward. It's more of a flowing horse that wants to sit up on speed and kick off it. He's going extremely well. He's probably better than midway grade, I'd say. The winners had everything go its way. I don't think it's any star, the winner, but he's a little line finder with a good turn of foot that'll win his share of races. You just got to pick the marks with him. Mailata was definitely a decent run. What was this thing, number 12? Smiling Prophet missed the kick and then ran through okay, but sort of good inside runs, which said to the extreme back towards the inside there, and not a lot of luck, but all the merit in the first 2. Photographics had its chance, was okay. It called Everyone's a Star, continues to race okay as well. So I think this was a forgive. Mailata, if it draws a gate, it can improve at some point. This bloke should knock up winning race. I think he's going to win quite a few races. I think he's a pretty good horse, Mogul Monarch, and he's returned in good order. Nothing more there. We'll jet through this race, the old highway. Again, very similar. They go out just below standard to the 800, slow up from the 8 to the 6, and then come home pretty quick. The time overall's okay. I thought Masira was a worse ride on first glance. I think there's a horse back in the pack here who's got a bit of ability called Oni Speed. I thought its effort was good. Its last couple of 100 metres was really good. And yeah, all of Danny Williams' horses that were back significantly in trip just got out sprinted late. Nothing surprising there. It looked the play, just trying to find the stalker. I couldn't find the winner, but very well ridden. Settled a lot closer than I thought it could, and there was plenty of merit in its win. The second horse is flying. Earmuff, sort of tricky horse to catch, and but it's racing really well.
Scratching, the light is on, and we're ready now for the highway. They're off. Masira jumped well from the wide gate.
Jimmy's only got one ride, and it's off to go 57-2. I think, is there something in that? We're out, mate. We're at Kembla tomorrow.
Off Masira.
I haven't even looked, to be honest. Sorting out of the crap here, but yeah, so Masira's out wide.
The wide gate. Sabuku showing a bit of speed. Exit.
The winner's in here. Spec 3 sort of settled a bit closer. He did well to sort of poke up and hold a spot. And Masira's here. So I thought Tim, a little bit similar to Jay, just didn't need to drag back as aggressively as he did. But I sort of had another look, and they are going along okay. There doesn't look to be a gap there. It's not like Jay where he sort of dragged back significantly for no reason. At least he's sort of on the back of the first horse. He could have found the back off. So it's not quite as bad as Mogul Monarch, but still, it's hard. Would he have been 4 wide, no cover? Anyway, probably a bit unlucky Masira, but not as bad a ride as I thought it was the first time watching it. This is the horse back here. I don't know if you can sort of see in the Moroni colours his own on a speed. I'll go back to the start. So it's drawn here in 5, I think. Misses the kick completely. So this is it back here in these colours, whatever they are, maroon and something. Super Winona aboard. So at the moment, it's back towards the inside here.
And Creon is 3 out, followed by She Within, looking to come
sort
on
of in 37 minds of where to go, looking back towards the inside, now trying to get back towards the outside. A lot of beaten up horses here that I don't think are going too far out of this grade, but this horse is only very lightly raced, and I just thought, I like the look of the horse, I like the makeup of the horse, I like the way it changed leg there and quickened, and I thought through the line it was pretty good. So with a rider change, I think it can measure up to this grade without a problem. It goes back to, Musselbrook or something similar, even, sort of a Newcastle benchmark, whatever, 65 or something. It can knock over one of those races, no problem. Is there anything else in this race? I don't think there really was. G'day, Nikki. Pretty good. Warwick Farm. On Wednesday, he's only got one ride. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had a look, to be honest. Wednesday. Oh, they're not getting that much rain down there, are they? Yeah, there wasn't much else there. I don't know what Danny Williams was doing, giving all these horses a run back in distance, but anyway, earned a bit of prize money. They ran well. Have I looked at Ethereal pre-launch event? What is that? I don't know what that is. Race 3, another really slow run race here. So this was pretty messy. Yeah, I think sort of G and Hippo up on Twitter that Gay's going to give him a spray for going too slow. I think if he had his time over again, he probably would go a little bit quicker or take off a little bit sooner, because they do go slow to the 8 and then even slow down further to the 6. And that's when Gay's horses usually like to build and make others sort of work hard for the win. But the race itself's not too bad. They do get home quick. The time overall is not too bad. Spring Lee, extraordinarily well suited to a sit sprint. Glinda Silver was first up, thought it was nice and tough. Swiss Exile improved, which is not surprising. Yiska was, maybe it missed the kick, but it was also given a very negative ride, and Reggie never looked to put it in the race at any stage. Its run was good, but set an impossible task from back where it was. I think it ran the second fastest. I don't know, it ran the 7th fastest, last 800 of the day. Quickest 400 of the 200. So it ran some really slick sections, Yiska, and just was basically given no winning chance. But the race was pretty ugly. If that's not the race, this is the race.
There's the light. Ready to go.
Yep. How good is Bjorn going? Too good. Last highway for a month. That's interesting, Paul. Will he move him? Oh, Canterbury's gone now. I wouldn't be surprised if he started putting the highways on Wednesdays after he put that one on the Friday night where they had full field. I wouldn't be surprised. G'day, Laney. I wouldn't be surprised if he started putting them on there. But, yeah, so I was hoping Yiska would settle up nice and close. He kind of half missed it, but I think he dragged it out as well. I don't know what the plan was there to drag it back in a race that's completely devoid of speed. But as soon as he ended up 3-4 lengths behind the lead, that was game over for Yiska. And he ended up in a spot where he could have sort of taken off and put a bit of speed into the race a little bit earlier. He chose not to. So basically gave Yiska a barrier trial. Spring Lee's over racing here. This is Lay Vampire in front. Glinda Silva, who's the one sitting wide. Dalalat, Express Exile. So they actually, I actually think this race won't be too bad from a future perspective. It's just it's basically a glorified barrier trial for most of these horses. The horses like Glinda Silver, it's definitely not going to hurt it. I don't think sitting outside the leader here and dashing up 3. Spring Lee, I think, this was its wet dream. What's happened here? The gates open up. Dalalat sat there and ran cover for it, pulled out. It's only had to sprint up for 300 metres and won the race. Key Largo was pretty good, won from the outside, and Yiska obviously was very good. Danistar wasn't bad first up too in a, just a dash up. Like, look, Dalalat sat wide the whole way. It's only gone down a length. So, yeah, I'm not saying this form's going to be extraordinarily strong, but what I do think is that it won't hurt the runners. So if you treat this as like a really solid barrier trial going into the next start, and you like the horses in this race off something they've done previously, I wouldn't be worried about them going forward off this. This should be a really nice platform to build off going forward. Levon P was very unlucky. I'd show the head on if I cared about the race a bit more, but he was unlucky that Swiss Exile sort of rolled out and squashed him up there. He definitely should have won the race, I'd say. Any other circumstances, Levon Pierre probably goes very, very close. Just got a bit unlucky and tight when he was starting to build his momentum back up and build his revs back up. But the winner's won by act of God. Slow punter. G'day, mate. How does Michael Freeman persist with Bayless? Yeah, I don't know. He's hard. He's so infectious, Reggie. He tries so hard. He means well, but yeah, he's just he needs a lot to go his way to win races. Yeah, that's dangerous too. What Clip said there's dangerous. The mighty Rachel. Good luck. She's done very well in Japan and everything. Group 1 winners. Good luck to her. Trailblazing. Not easy, and she's done a great job. But I'm scared of her coming back too. Regan picked up a few berry rides from Freeman and Price. He never struggles to seem. He gets rides off Gay. He gets rides off a few stables. Regan, I don't really get it, but Mr. Virgin, g'day. All right, into the 2-year-olds. These are interesting. This race was just putrid. They go slow. They go like 7 lengths below to the 8, slow down to 10 lengths below to the 6, and then zip home, but not significantly quick. There are faster last 600s of the day. So the race overall, time is obviously slow, set up by a ridiculously slow tempo to the 600, but we're talking about a pretty big gap between sort of par and what these horses have run. So you've got to be on the negative side, I think, for this race, but it is just so messy and ugly and slowly run that you've got to be a little bit wary that horses could definitely improve significantly out of this race. Skyhook was back up the inside. Rivellino's well ridden from back in the pack, but it still does a good job to outsprint them from back in the pack. Tommy Berry just absolutely destroys the race on Valedictorian going too slow in front, but I don't know why Hippo sort of allowed him to number 1 cross and then allowed him to dictate such a slow speed. Yeah, obviously Shaggy was disappointing visually, but basically was strangled the whole way around, and maybe he was over the top, and it didn't matter what happened, but the race was just farcically run. Comedy was okay late. Algorithmic was okay back towards the inside, and Quietly Arrogant was a little bit unlucky. They chose the right day to ride it a bit more forward, but it nearly got away with murder. Quietly Arrogant, it was the horse I was on, but it nearly got very lucky, but just didn't get that run when it needed to. It was probably a little bit unlucky in the end. But this is Rivellino back here, so it's hard to knock the winner. He's come past basically all of them in what is, you can see, just a hacking tempo here. So Hillier gets stuck wide, and they're all pretty keen in the run, and Collett does a good job to just let the horse flow a little bit. Even Comedy's there over racing, and he just allows sort of Rivellino to slowly creep up and get on the back of Hillier, and he saved 3 or 4 lengths that he could have easily missed the boat and stayed back in. Other jockeys may have missed that cue. So he's done a good job to be within 2 or 3 lengths of the leaders here, and really, when you look at this race, trying to sort of dissect it, this horse, not the most talented, so it's not really there. It's run 4th, and that's probably flattering for it. Shaggy, well, whether he's just gone way too slow outside leader, pulled himself into the ground, run his race by this point, or he's disappointing over the top, whatever you want to say, he's basically not there. He doesn't finish off that well. Hillier doesn't finish off either. So, what's really there? He's gone past nothing, really. Skyhook's held up, Quietly Arrogant's held up, Algorithmic's forced back to the inside, and Comedy doesn't really get out. So a lot's gone its way, Rivellino here, apart from the extraordinarily slow tempo, to allow it to really, be in the right spot at the right time, build its momentum when other horses, basically Skyhook, Quietly Arrogant, Algorithmic, haven't had a chance to build their revs up in a little sit sprint affair. So, yeah, I'm just a little bit wary. Skyhook probably is the one that should have won. Quietly Arrogant could have won. And, the winner's done nothing wrong, but a lot's gone its way to win. So when we're talking about these horses going towards a golden slipper, Rivellino's pretty well set up. I don't want to be too negative against it. It's ticked the 1,200 metre box, but it is off a slow speed. What do you do with the form with a horse like Valedictorian hanging here close to the lead? These horses are like, it's just a little bit smelly, but I think Algorithmic can improve. I think Comedy can improve. I think Skyhook's trending in the right direction. Quietly Arrogant probably doesn't have the upside, this prep that the others have, I don't think. And, no huge knock on Rivellino, but just be wary, I think, that a lot went its way. Yeah, that's sick, Brendan. Horrible. What does he do with Shaggy? Apparently Shaggy's being spelled. Apparently. Yeah, I saw Capital Angel going to Waller. I don't know the story, whether there was a blow up between the owners or whether they just made a decision to move the horse based off the issue that Angel Capital had the other day. But, you know, that happens to all horses. That happens to all stables. Happened to Waller plenty of times. I get it, but it's disappointing when it happens for sure. Yeah, I can't even see it as that. Okay, call it. Slipper winner, Laney. I don't know. I really don't know. I just think it's such a hollow year that I really don't know. You want to see Woden and, you know, whether they backed off him last start too much and he'll be a different horse this week. He'll probably get the sting out of the track. You know, I don't know. I don't know. There's not much around. I think, I don't know. Even that Bella Zane form, like, it's just fair, isn't it? There's a lot of horse you can see sort of running honestly, but pretty tricky for mine. Pretty tricky for mine. So that's the Colts and Geldings. This is the fillies. This race they actually run along at a solid tempo. Yeah, I thought he worked well between races. North England in that he had a track gallop there that Sky Channel put up. He's probably the wild card, but again, he's coming off a little setback, so hopefully if he's through that, he'll be okay. All right, Sweet Embrace, they run along a bit more here, so that like it's like a 10-length quicker tempo to the 800 and a 12-length tempo quicker to the, or speed quicker to the 600 here, and then they come home below. So their last, 600 stats in this race are probably the worst of the day. Well, they are. But there was only two fast tempo races or even to fast tempo races on the day. And that was this and Lady Shenandoah's race. And they just kept running and ran fast time. Whereas these sort of back off a bit late. But at least there was, at least you know what you're getting here. So a little bit happened in this race. Another bit of a tragic story for myself.
Stand by.
Yeah, Stella, well, it goes to the Magic Night Saturday week, Strata Verena. So a little bit happens here. One from the outside is the winner. Gets absolutely poleaxed at the start, as does Price Tag. And this is actually Artistic Venture, which I think caused it. He came out just horrifically negative on this horse. And I'm going to say probably should have won. Hard to argue. Certainly should have beat the winner home, maybe. But, and then this horse went okay too. This is in the Star Thoroughbred colours. Karinska, it's one to have a look at late, a little bit unlucky in the run. The only thing that, and I'm not a huge knocker of this horse, Autumn Blonde, but it drags the form down a little bit. Maybe she's an improver. She's up in the finish late. The other triple, what are they called? Tricolours. Syndicated horse. And Bella Zane solid up on speed. So, yeah, this is the winner. Gets absolutely poleaxed at the start there, like turned sideways and dragged out, and Artistic Ventures in behind it. But it is a solid tempo, which we've talked about. So Bella Zane softened up by Wooten Lass, who basically doesn't finish the course. Very green. Be surprised if we see her again this prep. Open Secrets sort of back towards the inside a little bit late, but I still think it had its chance. Autumn Blonde 3 wide, no cover, which on the day doesn't seem like it was that big an issue, but this is the fastest run race, so a little bit more merit in its run than maybe people are giving it credit for. Snitzel Miss is going for a spell, so I'm just not even going to worry about her too much here. Within the laws here, 3 wide with cover, and then Artistic Venture back and what's it called? Karinska back on the inside.
Autumn Blonde on a 3-wide path and Snit followed within the laws pretty
so
well.
I've got no clue. If you keep an eye on this horse here in the black with the black sleeves, cap, whatever it is, Artistic Venture, I don't know where this guy's actually looking to go. You've got the back of close enough to the favourite on the outside here, or second favourite, whatever it is, within the law, and he's trying to go back in between horses. I have actually no clue where he's trying to go at any stage on this horse. Within the law gets the outside. Darren Flindell was much more confident than myself that he was number 1 going to get there, and number 2 that it did get there. Bella Zane looked like it sort of fought it off for 99.9%, and it did. I thought it actually won across the line Here's Karinska back towards the inside in the Star Thoroughbred colours, and even Autumn Blonde gets turned sideways late.
Bellazane coming well off the fence. Bellazane by 2 on Wootton Lass.
Just getting to the middle of the track and getting worked in the run, Bellazane. I thought she was still probably the run of the race, and she was 1,000 metres to 1,200 metres here, so I think she will run well in a slipper.
Within the law, 4 off them is really starting to let rip. Bellazane still in front. Bellazane with 100 to go, but within the law's coming fast. Within the law goes to Bellazane.
Tell you what, he's got good eyes because I actually thought it won, but anyway.
And got up, I think.
Yeah, if we watch this horse again, I don't know where he's trying to go. Whatever his name is, Ronan Keating or Ronan Whelan or whatever his name is. Where he's trying, I've got no clue at any stage where he's trying to go on the horse. And Karinska's the one warming up back towards the inside there. I don't think there's much more upside in Memo or... Yeah, I don't know. We've got to take the form fairly seriously. At least we know what they've got under the hood. They've gone pretty quick the whole way. We know, what they've got at the end of a race, at the end of a strongly run 1,200. We know that Bellazane was 1,000 to 1,200 and second up, so I think it's got improvement in it off a fairly softish run 1,000 first up. We know Within the Law's going to keep finding the line after it found a lot of bother there, so it's ticked a lot of boxes for the slipper. It's just whether this artistic venture, Autumn Blonde, whether it drags the form down or not. Is this the right form for the slipper is probably the big question. There's plenty to go under the bridge between now and then. And can a horse like Karinska, I don't know if it'll get into a slipper, so it probably has to line up in a Magic Night or something like that against that Bella, what did you just call it? Strata Verena or a horse like that in the future. But the race was okay. First and second, good. The rest, you're probably going to have to make a bit of a judgment call on. I agree with that, Paul. If Artistic Venture follows Within the Law, it probably wins. I agree. And I was on it for my nuts. I know Stable's cast, but if North England locks off Worderton, we may have 2 horses trading single fingers. Yeah. I'd give a good chance to North England to do that. Just the little setback's a bit of a problem. Yeah, and I agree with that. That's the problem, Paul. But at least it did a bit of work in the run, whereas the others didn't. At least it did something. It had a horse sit outside it. It wasn't well set up. It had to work to get to the middle of the track as well, which it didn't really do naturally. So it had to do a lot more work than the other race did, the Skyline. I think, even though the time off a solid tempo wasn't there, it's probably still got more merit in it than the Skyline did. Guy Walter Stakes. This is one of the biggest joke races I've ever seen. And although it will surprise no one in life, how they don't even bother to ask the question. This horse was, whatever it was, $2.70 to $1.70 late, $1.80. And, she sat outside Pride of Jenny before, so she's got speed if they want to use it. But they haven't ridden this horse in a forward manner for a long time. And there was a huge question mark over the race. There was no speed in the race, which way they would go, back, forward. And you would believe that it would be fair enough as a punter that if the intention's there to basically lead, which is what James McDonald does here, especially out of the gates, they need to put a change of tactics in this race. And the question needs to be asked at least, and it wasn't. It was not even asked. They don't even... where's the... This? Yeah, they don't even ask the question. So what race is this? Like 6? Not even a mention of the horse in the steward's report. So nothing was asked of him. No, it's just like, it's all bullshit anyway, but, at least ask the question. Especially when the money comes like this. Like, you can't just be... Anyway, it is what it is. They absolutely walk. They go sort of 15 lengths below to the 800, drop that another 6 lengths. They lose another second, basically, between there and the 600, and they go out 20 lengths low. McDonald's you'd nearly knock him over the head if you were on it for going too slow, but then she's just ripped home so fast because she does have that superior turn of foot that she was never in doubt. He probably erred that he went too slow and didn't take off soon enough. But, he's run the 58 fastest last 800 of the day in a race where they've gone 15 lengths below to the 800. You'd think the horse would run 8th. But they've sprinted home so quick in this, fastest last 400 of the day is Alentia, in a weird day. So we'll have a look at it anyway.
Unsuccessfully, but certainly no luck. Okay, so we're just about right here for the Guy Walter Stakes. The bears are ready and they're off and racing, and Amelia's Jewel.
We're not off and racing because I can't see anything.
Just about right here for the Guy.
So you can't tell me that he hasn't come out with the intent. Look at him. Bang, bounces it, digs it. He hasn't come out with the intent to ride a horse more forward. I'm an astronaut. So, and it's fair enough. Like the tactics were there. You just wanted to know because, devil's advocate putting the tin hat on. There were two main chances here: Alentia and Amelia's Dream. If you ought to know, and Alentia's much bigger chance to go back, right? It's much more devoid of early speed than Amelia's Jewel. She's much more adaptable. But if you put 6 lengths between them in the run in a race where there doesn't look to be any speed, there's your $2.70 to $1.80. You know what I mean? That's it. That is the whole race. Is putting 6 or 7 lengths between them and the map. And if you could do that and know it was going to happen, that's why the betting was the way it was.
She races to a length lead out of the gate, and Alsafina is straight there in second spot.
Valentia's run out of its head. It's one of the runs of the day.
Flirt, then Tashi.
Look what he's doing on Alentia. He's not even just happy to sit 3 wide. He's going to drag back even further in behind French Endeavour. That's a 100-to-1 chance. So he's given it literally no winning chance. And look how slow they're going here, and nothing wants to do anything. They're all just looking at each other.
Pretty sharply as Amelia's Jewel presses on, but Sounds of Heaven moved up on the outside. Osbred Flirt just has the nose right under
literally, the Anthony, you're right. Like, there's just no intent from any of them.
Safina, and now Tashi's on a 3-wide path. They're followed further back by French Endeavour, tracking up for cover.
Like, there's nothing.
Dark Glitter, the rouse from Our Gold Hope.
McAvoy in the middle is just locked up. Dark Glitter's locked up. Our Gold Hope, which does pull 3 out of 5 lame. I actually thought it went pretty good here, Our Gold Hope. I actually thought they'd ride it closer to the speed, but they didn't do that. And it's pulled up lame, so. But you can just see that Alentia will turn its form around here. She's a very, very good horse. Amelia's Jewel, and she's obviously come back in really good order, and this sit sprint will just bring her right on. Should be hard to beat in whatever she contests next start, unless she goes up significantly in distance. I'd be concerned about that. Yeah, she's gone very well. McAvoy's given this horse absolutely no hope. Alsafina, it's just been given an absolute barrier trial, so it can improve significantly. A lot of these horses are split now. You wouldn't think that many of these horses will go to races like the Coolmore or whatever. A lot of them will go back in grade and sideways and whatever, but yeah, just treat this race with a grain of salt. It's literally a barrier trial. That's all it is. That's all it is. And from a horse's perspective like Alentia, it's always going to be a victim in races like this. And, I'm not saying it's going to race well, like win next start, but I think it'll run to its peak. It's just had 2 little blowout runs, and it'll be fitness-wise ready to go. It's just a matter of whether it finds the right race with the right setup. But if it's always going to be a little bit tricky to place. Anyway, because there's just no gap between all of them. They've all sprinted home really sharply. They're all decent mares. So, Tashi's really a 1,200-metre horse for mine. It was suited by the slow tempo. And the other sort of had a blowout. Never was asked post-race if she was premeditating. She denied it. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, that's all they do anyway, Daniel. They just deny anyway. But at least ask the question. It's just a piss take otherwise. Like, you're sitting at home. We can make an educated guess that when the money comes, it's going forward, right? Like, but what about other punters? Like, it's just if you describe to them the difference, like there's your gap between these runners, whatever that is, 2.5 lengths. Just cut probably 3 or 4 lengths off at it from the peak of where it was back in the race. So if they're closer together in the run, naturally they're going to finish closer, and that's what betting's all about, right? So, yeah. I thought backing up was a strange option too, and hopefully she's okay. 3 out of 5 lanes, not a great sign though. Aaron Jones was a bit like a tempo, but she left it completely up to him. Yeah, and that's fair enough. But he's also definitely gone out there with a plan, and whether that's plan A or what, like they should have at least lodged the old attention to be ridden more forward if the opportunity eventuates, something like that. I think that's a compliment, Marcus. Thank you. Got the wrong screen there. Next. So the surround stakes. This was the race run at the most solid tempo of the day. They go quick basically the whole way. The time's really slick overall. Really solid race. Actually didn't look like they were going this quick whilst watching it live. Remember having a crack at Davo after the race saying that Tim should have gone faster. And I'm sure that he'd like to retract that statement now. But it did visually look like they weren't going that hard. And they certainly did. The winner's effort's better than what it looked. The second horse's effort's better than what it looked. And you thought they went slow because none of the back markers got into it. But I think it was just the front running fillies or the horses up the front that sort of the track was quite fast if you allowed the horse to run along. But I think class just came out here. The horses up the front over 1,400 metres, the fastest horses over 1,400 metres sort of came away from the rest. And that's I think that's pretty simply what happened. There's a few horses that can improve. I think Delici Boulevard's ready to improve next run. But I don't think they'll turn the tables on the leader. And, you know, it was just really good to see Lady of Camelot put a hand up over 1,400 and really tough it out as well as she did. So I don't think much happened at the start from memory. Castagna sort of bungled out, but she was quite disappointing overall. Not much happens in the run. Here, there's not big gaps opening, so it doesn't look like they're going quick. It's quite surprising the time they've ran and the time overall. Like even Dominetta's first up's trying to find gaps. Like Manal looks keen in the run. It doesn't look like they're really going quick at all. The gaps aren't opening up back throughout the pack, and a lot of these fillies look like they were, you know, mile-plus fillies. So, you know, she even looks a little bit keen, if anything, Lady Shenandoah early. She looks like she's settled a bit more now, but still, if anything, wants to go a bit quicker. And Idle Flyers last of all, 5:50 to go. So I'd say that's a good thing. There'll be a little bit more improvement in her. That this will probably knock the edge off her, and she'll come out and peak next time out, I'd say. Just this is Delici Boulevard in the yellowy orangey colours back towards the inside here. I thought she was probably the horse that was the best of the rest. No knock on Lilac, no knock on Lazura. No knock, more territories went okay. Manal went okay.
Of Lady of Camelot and now Lady Shenandoah just cruised up on the outside. McDonald gave the start.
Yeah, she really knuckles down strongly, Lady of Camelot. Like really impressive.
Lady of Camelot is showing plenty of fight. Lady Shenandoah, Lady of Camelot's fighting hard. Lady Shenandoah pushed right out and wins the surround.
And like through the line,
from a brave Lady of Camelot.
She's not really getting away from. She hasn't dropped off. So you know, it sounds insane, but and I don't know where they'll go. Whether they'll go to Coolmore or Flight Stakes or whatever these horses will line up next up. But it's very hard to see anything from back here turning the tables on these two horses over a mile. And who's to say that, you know, if Lady of Camelot finds a race where she can dictate next time out, that she won't be very hard to beat. Yeah, I agree with Anthony, what he said there. After a previous race, I thought she was underrated. She had to work a little early, tidy out the gates. She's consistent, yeah. First four, finished first four. They did, but yeah, I think we'd say Lilac's the horse going up in distance. It's, you know, going to be the weakest. I think Delici is the one that will come to improve it the most. Lazura fair, and I don't think it's probably a neutral horse. Manal certainly improved first up to second up. Dominetta went quite well. Yeah, there's not much between these horses, but these two fillies are definitely a little bit superior. And I don't think, you know, an extra 100 or 200 metres is going to change that. Skippy little action, is that Lady of Camelot? She's just a tough little filly. But yeah, it's good for the stable. They're definitely not at their absolute best at the moment. This race was the Chipping Norton, whatever you want to call it now. I'm calling it the Chipping Norton because that's what it says here, but that's what it was always known to as me, for me too as well. I think it's a very elegant or something like that. -4 out, they hold that tempo from the 8 to the 6, so they go out, restrained tempo and then come home 5 or 6 above. The winner comes home 10 above the last 800, so 10 above the last 600. So plenty of merit in the runs here of first, second, and third, and fourth. Probably drops off a little bit from there, but they're sort of middle distance horses or more. Zaracum was obviously something issue there, I think. Looked terrible across the line, but yeah, they've all come back really well. Vicestina still, to me, in the yard, look like it's got physical improvement to come, so that's a worry for turning the tables. Third up for any horse in this race, I don't think anything will. Fangirl on the back of Vicestina was what I wanted to see, and as just a racing fan, I was very excited to see what these two would do up the straight, and it was pretty much exactly what you expected, I think. If Fangirl didn't go straight past her, and Vicestina had the chance to build and pick her up again, she was going to, and going to be a little bit too strong late, and she basically did exactly that. Lindemann looks like he's ready for a little bit further. I think he needs to go a little bit quicker, ideally, but he obviously needs to stop racing against Vicestina and Fangirl as well.
She was a dual winner of this race. We're all set. Ready now. And they're off and racing, and Arapaho bounced out well. So did Lindemann the outside, and Golden Path quickly accelerating. They're followed by Zaracum and...
So again, this is where McDonald's just too good. It obviously helps him that Fangirl gets chopped out at the start, but he's smart enough to realise that really quickly. So I think plan A for McDonald here was to flop on the back of Fangirl and try and outsprint her rather than the other way around, or at least dictate when he went. As soon as he sees that Fangirl's flopped out, he then overly, he's aggressive. He's now putting the pressure on Collett to have to use her art to hold the other horse out or take up a position in front. So, I think that's the difference between McDonald and a lot of jockeys. He's gone out with a plan. He's summed it up pretty quickly in the first couple of 100 metres, and then, he's taken a calculated risk to push forward and land a pair closer than what everyone probably expected.
Is the length and a half there behind
Was it the winning move? I don't think so. I don't think it really mattered. But just shows that he's always thinking, and he's very adaptable when he comes out of the gates compared to most.
On the coattails of Vicestina as they turn. Golden Path in front from Lindemann. Then a sold up now, and Fangirl going every bit as well on the outside. Down to the 250.
So this is what I sort of mean, where she didn't just put a neck on or a half length on Vicestina quickly there with a sharp turn of foot. Fangirl, you knew she was always going to be in trouble the last 100, 150 to get past her. And it's just, you can just see the way she lengthens. Interesting, like something I love. You can see how long in front she is and how she gets her head down and flowing, like in comparison to the others around her. They're nice horses, but just watch the way, the efficiency of her action, and that, I don't know what it is, whether it's just the natural weight in front and these long horse, you can just see she just stretches her neck, and it feels like she's cheating the way she can get her neck and body and momentum going forward. It's like it carries her. It's like it's just more efficient, I think. It's hard to explain, but it's Lindemann gelding on the inside there, and she's strong. Faulkner Park really good, Golden Path really good, Arapaho really good. So yeah, this form will be the right form, I would suggest, going forward. And Office sits a little slow tempo, sits sprintathon. You'd expect that it's a beautiful building race to take these horses on the next step to wherever they're targeting. It does Laney, isn't it? She's obviously a little bit different. Like, I think she's probably Lynx is a bit lighter, but similar the way they just take a while to get going, and then once they do get going, it looks like it looks like they run through a brick wall for you. I would say so, Paul. I'd say, and I don't think it's a horse that can win a Doncaster, but I'd say that's what they do. Was Arapo first or second up? Second up. Yeah, I thought it was second up. But yeah, two really good runs from Arapaho, but old Schumacher will probably be back on board it next time. It's all good tapeworm. I just spent so much time on these goddamn races that I thought that was the case, but no big difference anyway. 2 to go. Poxy race here. Well, not Poxy. The race itself's actually pretty good, but I think very similar to race 1, a sit sprint tempo was always going to suit Iona Merck better than anything in this race. With Your Blessing runs better than I thought it could down in the weights, but obviously controls the speed. They go sort of 4 below. Maintain that 8 to the 6, and again, that delaying the sprint going into the race really helped those horses up the front. Gringotts is a certainly beaten, I think. I think it was a pretty poorly judged ride, just way too passive, whether it was having a barrier trial and ran better than they suggested or what. Its run was very good. Gringotts ran the fastest last 800 of the day. And if you told me that the fastest last 800 of the day on a day like this was going to be running this race and it wasn't going to be from the winner, and it was going to be Gringotts, oh my God, I would have just been like, what? This doesn't make sense. I expected Gringotts to settle a lot closer. I thought it'd be sort of 3rd, 4th at worst. And it was pretty sick watch if you're on it, even though it gets a nice run through late. Yeah, passish marks, like certainly they run such fast, 8 to the 200 metre mark here. Like Golden Mile was okay first up. Kabling was okay. Willow was probably a little bit disappointing, but I don't think it's really. I think it needs a faster, solid tempo. Ideally, I don't think it's really a control horse. I think it's one that he's probably gone way too slow on it here. Whether the horse was not at its best or what, I'm not sure, but it's probably the horse least suited by the tempo. Willow.
Ready now.
I honestly thought it got beat. So, obviously it comes out a little bit slow, Gringotts, but just literally zero.
Ready now.
Zero effort to try and hold a spot there. Just flops out and goes back to last. Like, I don't really understand why you wouldn't have wanted to hold that spot there, which was available. I don't understand. But anyway, I don't understand the rider at the best of times. So, yeah, Willow probably just didn't show its natural speed there. Schiller comes up, has a little look, then grabs hold, and that's the end of the tempo in the race. He's just gone way too slow. Probably, should have had a look for the front or at least press the tempo. Doesn't do that. This is the other thing that's really hurt Gringotts. Why have this gap? Why have 4-length gap in such a slowly run race? It just looks like a barrier trial. It looks like they've had no intent to really do a lot here. And, he's just faced an impossible task late and he's still nearly overcome it. Yeah, well, that's probably true. And it's got a good chance. It's got a very good chance. Probably going to be a pretty average Doncaster, apart from the mighty Swift Falcon. So he has a look trying to come to the outside Gringotts and has to commit back towards the inside. Iona Merck back towards the inside again, which I don't think's the ideal spot. Complete sit sprinter, the winner. Without a blessing, the horse that gets beat. And so is Iona Merck. So they're both, very well placed under these conditions. And Gringotts just gets that dream run through late, but look how strong he is, my God. Like that is the first up run of a Doncaster winner for mine. Like, I'm not saying he's a certainty in the Doncaster, don't get me wrong, but if you bought a horse to the races wanting to win the Doncaster, that's the run you want to see. That's what you want to see it doing, hitting the line late like that in a slow run race. He's maintained an 800-metre run first up. It's quite crazy that he's run the fastest last 800 of the day. He didn't even need to go forward. He just needed to hold the spot that Radina held, and he just went. Gringotts, Jesus, you can't hardly train a winner. You think he'd be trying to bloody get any winner he can. Like, that's what I love about Björn. There's not too many horses having barrier trials, except for your Arapahoes and that getting to 2,400 metres. I'll tell you, like, Bjorn finds a race that they can win on the way to the race that they want to win. He doesn't put them in races that he doesn't want to win along the way very often. Like, they all do at times. But Bjorn's trying to win every race that he can, and that's what I like about him. He's trying to put them in a race where they can win on the way to the race that he wants to win. And that's, I think that's the difference at the moment compared to most of them. They're just barrier trial central. Waller's like, most of his runners are going around in circles, and I don't even know what to do with Kieran Ma. Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone know what the story is there? Schiller has no clue how fast he's going or not. I think he's got a good ability as a rider. He can sit on, he can steer, he's strong in a finish, but he's tactically so poor. And whoever's helping him, I think, is really hurting him because he has no clue of tempo and he doesn't understand, which is even worse, the effect it has on his horse. And he sort of says things that are counterintuitive quite often where he thinks he's trying to help the horse when he's actually hurting it and vice versa. So I think he needs a bit of help. Old Tyler, and he'll be okay. But, yeah, I think he's getting a bit of bad advice, to be fair. I'd love to know what happens going on at Mars, whether they're just starting to work out that they're too big for their own boots, and I mean that in a nice way. You just can't have 9 or 10 stables in this current climate. You can't have this many horses in this current climate. You're going to get a lot of bad debts accrued, and you need to make a lot of money along the way to make up for that. And when you've got huge overheads, from CEOs and what have you, and I don't know, I've heard rumors he's got a lot of staff. Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on with Ma, but it doesn't surprise me, and it wouldn't surprise me if sort of Annabelle was next. Yeah, he's getting more stables. He's always getting more stables. Last race, a bit of a nothing race, sort of jet through it, I think. One of the runs of the day here, I thought, was Madatsu. It was always going to be tough to run extremely well in this race off a real sleepy ride first up. But when you got a significantly slow tempo again here, 5 lengths below to the 800, then slowed down again to the 600, and zipped home again. Its task was basically impossible, but ran the second fastest last 600 of the day in a staying race, second up off a pretty quiet run first up. So I thought its run was one of the runs of the day, Madatsu. There's a big race in here, I think. Probably next start, he's going to be very hard to beat. Over 2,000 metres, I'd say. He can settle a little bit closer, Madatsu. This is him back here, second last. Winner did a good job, but very fit. This is him in here. Coca Beware the Birdman, he was just okay again after being very well back late. No real excuses for any of the rest, especially up on speed. They definitely had full control of the tempo up the front. So these 4 horses, every possible chance. The winner was a little bit keen and made vulnerable by a soft tempo and overcame that and won pretty easy. Birdman gets back and does a decent job, but I thought Madatsu's run was better. It's off the bit earlier, so I think it's less suited by the speed, but he's able to maintain a stronger run for further. So, completely out sprinted. I think going into a more genuine race next time out, Madatsu will be very hard to beat. Just keeps finding the line. I like his style. I think he's a nice horse, Madatsu.
It's Kings Valley edging clear the final 50, and Kings Valley, that's been a good win. Beating Birdman, photo third, Swayze.
I don't really know what to make of Birdman. He just doesn't excite me. He just doesn't really ever let down like a horse that I think, I want to find. He's definitely another horse that's a bit like Madatsu, who's going to be better suited next time out. This should bring him to his peak. But he got to Kings Valley there pretty quickly and, was entitled to sort of go with him for a bit longer. I thought he was, whether he blew out or not, I'm not really sure. But next up really should tell us a lot about Birdman and Madatsu. I don't think anyone's too excited about that race. But that is a Randwick. Flemington, the Guineas looks like it was run at a solid tempo the whole way. The Blamey was run at a very fast speed. Marble did a good job there. this filly Scalado was pretty good. And El Morzillo was good off the back of a fast tempo in an average race, which is kind of how it looked. I didn't think it looked like it went like a rocket, and I didn't think the race looked that great. I agree, Daniel. Yeah, the Guineas is interesting. I thought that Gold Rush Guru was a little bit unlucky the first time I watched it. I thought she could have been a little bit more positive early, but not really. She ends up in a decent enough spot. I would have loved her to get the spot the winner had, and she does get a little bit keen for a while here. Gold Rush Guru. If it had landed there, would it have won? Probably. But the winner does get away from it a bit around the bend and is pretty strong late, so I don't want to take too much away from the winner, but stay focused with a decent buffer for flanks opening out of Plymouth. So this is Feroce, the winner here, 4 wide. Gold Rush Guru on its back. Little, what is it called, Savagely or something? The New Zealand horse had every possible chance. So yeah, like what's interesting here, just sort of drops the bit. I thought it must have been unlucky trying to get through them here, Gold Rush Guru, but it's just taken quite a while to build. It's not, it's definitely not been unlucky. It's just taken a while to get through its gear. So I think all systems go for it up in distance, Gold Rush Guru, but the winners, hard to deny that it shouldn't have won the race. It definitely had the right running transit.
Moving up on the outside, Feroce though. Feroce up to Savagly. Feroce going home better and won the Australian Guineas by 3/4 of a length and a big pose for the.
Yeah, I don't think there was nothing too surprising there, wasn't there? Seppels was good first prep, done a great job. Probably goes for a break, you'd say. Point and Shoot was vulnerable and showed itself up a bit. I don't think there was any two surprises there. Handline really struggling. There's not a lot of depth to the race, I don't think. Yeah, that's probably right, Paul. That's probably a pretty good way to put it. The first 4 across the line. Whoever had the best run probably wins. Feroce ended up in the perfect spot. Yeah, whoever got that run probably goes very close. Hard to make too many excuses for Savagely, but I think, and Seppel's first prep probably just had enough late there, but I think whoever had the run out of first and third probably gets going that little bit quicker and hard to beat. Yeah, it's hard to be more dominant over a 2,000-meter trip, especially for a horse like Revelare, when you're coming off such a slow tempo. Even though it's one-off slow tempos, it's one-off fast tempos. It's hard to be much more dominant than what it was off the back of such a slow speed, So I think it did a really good job again. I actually thought it was in a bit of trouble in the run. There was a good run in that race. What were we talking about it? Were we not? Oh, Steel Run. Yeah, I thought Steel Run's effort in that race was really good. It'll run well next time out. English Sprint. Yeah, I don't think there's no real reason to watch that. Those horses, those English races, they're all coming there. The only reason I'd be wanting to watch is watch El Morzillo win again. Scalado was good, but I think she's sort of an ex-prep horse too. Have a look. There's a million races coming up this week, so I'll bring this down so that I can watch the replays if I need to. That big enough? It's probably big enough. Yeah, I think the weather doesn't look too bad in Sydney. I haven't looked at Melbourne, but it looks like they're going to get a little bit of rain. So enough rain. It'll probably be a 5 or a 6 maybe, but they shouldn't water it, which is really important. So I'd expect it to be sort of soft, but nothing too significant the way the rain looks. And if, get a bit of wind and whatever, it might be a 5. Steffi, places her. Yeah, I agree, Daniel. I thought they might wait for a wet track, but she's obviously a cripple. They've obviously, and I mean that in a nice way, she's obviously got mad issues and struggles to let down on those firm tracks. Yeah, so first race, Randwick Guineas. no surprises there. $1.60 broadsiding for me is ridiculously short. It'll be interesting to see what the betting does here, and barrier draws and whatever will have their effect on the race. But I do think that Swift Falcon should be a lot closer to broadsiding in the betting if they should be both that short. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if Aliana's committed to going there or not. And I do think that linebacker can improve. So, yeah, I think broadsiding's aggressively short there. Aggressively short. Agree. Clearly, maybe 14 back to 12. She probably had to have a break on them, I agree. But they didn't go slow. She probably went a bit quick. Yeah, but he was probably better to let it flow and put the others under pressure a little bit more. But yeah, she did a good job. Yeah, I don't know what the betting will do here, but it's just insanely short. It's just the market's ridiculous. 5 days out, it's just stupid. $1.60, $3.50, $4.50, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But if I had to do anything there, I'd be betting around broadsiding at those prices. Canterbury Stakes. I thought I didn't think Switzerland. I saw it. Who did it work? It worked between races with something the other day, and I didn't think it was that impressive. I didn't think Sunshine in Paris was ready to go in a race like this either. I think, and I'm a big Sunshine in Paris fan. That's not what I want to see. I want to see this. 1,300 metres first up, I think is not ideal, especially on soft ground. So I'd be wary of Sunshine in Paris. I'd be wary of Sea Wolf. I'd be wary of mostly. So I don't think Jimmy Star's going to be lining up there. Yeah, I think Magic Time and Steffi Magnetica are clearly the two here. And if it's the wetter it gets, probably plays into the hands of Magic Time significantly. Someone's already got I think they put up 10 or 12 to 1 or something Magic Time about a week ago. So that's long gone. Yeah, no surprises here. Geez, this horse worked well. Militarize. It worked with Sunshine. It worked with something. It worked like a rocket. Militarized. I don't know where it'll show up, but it'll be interesting to keep an eye on it. And it does love the wet from memory. Militarized, even though it's off a break and coming back from shooting blanks at stud. I thought his work was really good. Switzerland and Militarized. Yeah, I thought Militarized looked great in its work with Switzerland. I thought it worked better than it. Yeah, if Swift Falcon draws a gate, I think it'll go very close to beating. But unfortunately, we're going to get Sheila the Thriller on the back of it. You would imagine. Newmarket handicap. Holy shit. Yeah, I thought Militarized worked better than Switzerland. Yeah, I don't really like doing these feature sprint races until you get barrier draws and whatever, because and riders, they're so pivotal on what's going to happen. So I probably wouldn't even want to have too big an opinion here. Geez, I didn't like the way Growing Empire hit the line first up. Concern over that whole race. Jolly Star. Oof, gee. Might be a race to go wider. Espionage went okay, sitting wide in that race at Caulfield, 25 to 1. Jimmy Star was very Headwell. How far? My concern for Headwell would be a strong 1,200 metres, whereas you'd think that'd play heavily into the hands of Jimmy Star. Yeah, it's an interesting race, that one. Wouldn't surprise me, Paul. I don't know why they'd want to do it. Yeah, I do. Yeah, but sorry, Knuckles answer, by the time they get to 5 years old, do you still worry about trials and exhibition gallops? Absolutely, because any time you get a look at any sort of work they do at all, whether it be trials, jump outs, track gallops, anything, you're always gaining insight into how you think they're going to go. They're not machines, so the more information we've got, the better, like without knowing how they're working, whatever, having sort of that level of inside information, or inside information is probably the wrong way to put it, but that level of information, it's much more difficult. I don't know why they do that, Daniel. It doesn't make sense. The William Reed's 1,000, isn't it? Why would you go there when this race looks such a beautiful race? Wouldn't be surprised, Laney. Cylinder won it last year. It was a weird race. It was a weird race. I'd like to see Ostraka down the straight. It's just this will be interesting to see what happens. I don't know why, but if Jimmy starts, it just seems a big price. It was just completely dominant first up, and I just can't understand why it's not shorter, even if it's not running. Yeah, I'd rather go to the challenge with Jimmy, but with Headwall, but I don't know if he All-Star Mile. Yeah, there's nothing too exciting there, is there? Like, Light Infantry Man was good the other day. I doubt Angel Capital would go around there, would it? If it does, it's in a bit of trouble. The top three, look, the top three, and we'll just wait and see what happens between now and Saturday for that. Holy shit, Hinged is favourite for a race? I think that's mad, Paul, but it makes sense for the betting. What are you laughing at, Mr. Burgess? Hinge is... Could Little Buyer... Could he win this race? This is a horse that was like a provincial level horse at the start of its prep, and he... What? This is actually a race worth looking at.
Retains the rider.
So this was a mad sit sprint race. Mare of Mount Buller first up. And I think it had a fair bit of weight here, didn't it? So I don't know, carried 6.5 after the claim for Osmond.
And it's punted out by 2 on the Little Pumper, followed by Amadilla Park third on the inside of Invaders. Tempo the back to
completely missed the boat on it. Old barrier trial Osmond.
So there's a few McLaddy up to second, then the Little Pumper. Follow a bit wide from
gets boxed in behind them whilst the winner is able to go around him and sprint. You can see that she's got plenty to offer, Maribount Buller. Gets a splint late, hits the line well.
This is a massacre at Randwick.
She's running away from the rest of them there. She got wet form? She's run third to Amazonian Lass, Molly Bloom, in a listed 1,800 metre race. Only time she's seen wet, and that's if she gets a wet track. What? I'll go back and watch its trial in a sec. I didn't think Hidge did anything the other day.
Trained by the Hawks family. Serves it up now to watch my girl. She's got a big stride. Macarena from.
This is the 2-1 favourite.
Across the track, wide out Firestorm. Dark glitter up the fence. They hit it.
That.
Firestorm just.
So she's had a jump out and it.
Off. Straight charge Shanghai out of the gates. The graph on this field behind it. One pass straight now.
Just a nothing trial. Like, just had a spin around, which I don't mind. Off the back of a first run, I love a little clean out trial. So, Jesus Christ, I couldn't back I couldn't back Hinge to beat Mare of Mount Buller. $4.54. Molly Bloom. Idle Flyer. Idle Flyer is Matthew Smith's horse that's won in midweek at Kensington track. Snuffleupagus. I don't even... What's Snuffleupagus done lately? First up. Timmy's horse.
Okay, so King of Thunder now. Agenda is still falling last on the inside. Celestial Legend, Allocator.
3 and 4 wide.
Just fine push.
3 and 4 wide, hard ridden in the trials.
Just fine in
Snuffleupagus. Good luck. Molly Bloom. And second at Flemington to Road of Ataki. Back of a fast speed. James McDonald.
Scampering. Couldn't pick. Worm flying.
Oh, this was this day when it was the world was ending. So she had a beautiful run here.
Third on the ins and Mirava 2 lengths to Aratagi. 200 face. Molly Blue. Wishlaw Lass. It's Road to Aratagi. 100 metres to go. 2 lengths clear. Road to Aratagi. Road to Aratagi's won it from Molly Blue.
Went all right. Never won a race out here yet. Molly Bloom. I think Mare of Mount Buller will go very close there. Aspiration quality, so Hinge will be giving them more weight. Yeah. I don't know what the story is with Straight Charge. I think, I don't think it's anywhere near as the horse that it looked like it was going to be. Yeah, I agree. This is where our Gold Hope should have gone. Yeah, I think Mare of Mount Buller will go very close in this race. And probably Molly Bloom's the only danger. But I'd rather be with... well, it's interesting. McDonald rode it. Whether he sticks with her or not. I think Mare of Mount Buller's a pretty good horse. Probably staying around this distance is the only worry, but and probably helps Molly Bloom a little bit. Anyway. Dodgy Mares race is not a race that I thought I'd be too excited about. Did I just get rid of that? No, here it is here. Aspiration Quality. Challenge Stakes. Marzu, IME. Isn't McDonald's riding IME, I read. Mochi first up. Headworld. Chance of going there. Uncommon James. Yeah, I haven't watched these horses trial or anything. Get a Beal. Oh. Not much of a race, but I can't find much there. Bible Stakes. Nothing there. Drifting. Winner's Edge. No. Catch the Glory. Surely not. That's Mars thing, isn't it? Kinesiology City, Randwick City Stakes. Oh, God, the old take turns race. Nothing here, I don't think, that's sort of knocking on the door. Nope. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I haven't, well, Komochi's actually a very interesting horse. Now that you bring it up, I'll have a look. She won first up last time in. She beat Commemorative, didn't she? That was a really strong win. She won beating Learning to Fly the time before that. First up, that was 1,200. The other time was 1,100. She went like a rocket behind Autumn Ballet over 1,200 first up the time before that. So she's an absolute bomb fresh horse.
Here at Rose Hill. And just settle that runner. They're away, and Osbred Flirt was tardy, missed it by 2 or 3 lengths and bouncing well.
So she's jumped well here, and
And he'll sail.
Is that her
across.
here?
He'll
She's
take
getting
up the
dragged
lead.
out,
They're
right?
settling from Royal Patronage, going and just helping to settle that runner. They're away, and Osbred Flirt was to
So
second.
she's running fourth here,
And
pulling her ass off. They've dragged her back.
Harry was from Royal below the private. But Private Harry is going to coast down and win the trial. Private Harry by 2 on the line.
She's tried well enough.
Royal Patronage and
She's a very, very good horse. Holy shit. Never run a mile. That's ridiculous. He's put her out to 2,000 metres in a mile. She come back, won 1,400. Probably should have won that Southport Tycoon race, or gone very close in it. It's that wide, no cover the whole way. Went like a rocket. She's got enough speed to not be too far away over 1,000 metres, especially against those sorts of horses. Yeah, I can. It's the only horse I could back in that race. She's the only horse with upside in that race. Marzu's honest. IME's honest. Oncoming James has topped a few checks. I don't know what he's been up to. 2 trials up in Brisbane. I don't even know if he's going to come down. Geez, he'd want to be down by now. Assuming he trialled like a rocket here.
Ready to break. They're off. Uncommon James off the inside, back it away. Heading down the side to approach the 600.
Keen, he looks very keen.
And thank you. They left her for home in Prince, and thank you. Drum was short-lived, but Uncommon James below the 200 metres as well. Straight into his margin, and when the judge calls a halt,
well.
Uncommon James leads all the way.
He obviously doesn't like... he's won on a soft track. They're doing Peritru's beaten 1.8 over 1,000 at Moonee Valley. I still think Kamochi's a better horse. Yeah, I'm not a big Uncommon James fan either, to be fair. Yeah, $6 Kamochi's interesting, very interesting, and I think Marzu is priced up for a heavy track. So as long as the heavy track doesn't eventuate, it's a 5 or a 6. I'd definitely rather back Kamochi all day, every day, Hyundai over it. Beasley Stakes artistic venture. You wouldn't think no interest in having a look at this race until you get to see what's going on. The ones up the top are probably definitely the most dangerous. Interesting that they saved Mahuna and Inkaruna for this race. They're probably $15. Mahuna's interesting. It's nothing special. I don't think this race is worth stepping into unless you know something, unless you know that Tempted's not going to go around. I doubt they'd back Artistic Venture up. They'll wait for the Magic Night, you would think. Todman, yeah, I thought they might put up a silly price North England. I thought they might put up $8 or $9 North England. Interesting to see that the horse that sort of just went down narrowly in the Blue Diamonds, $11. King of Pop was good. It's a $15 a big price. King of Pop. 25 to 1 Buffalo is very interesting, but especially if it's wet. It's a good horse too, just one to sort of keep an eye on, but I think it needs 1,400 a mile. This will be a kitchen sink job, Woderton, because it needs to win or run very well to get into the slipper, which is worth so much to them. Yeah, it's kitchen sink day for Woderton. Yeah, Brendan, I think it was a good win. I don't think he can win the final, and that's without knowing the field. But I don't think he's good enough to win the final. I don't think he's good enough to win the final. What's in the noms for the Newcastle race? I haven't looked. Weights, here we go. Newcastle Stakes. You wouldn't think Macarena would go there. You wouldn't think he should go there. You wouldn't think. What's it worth? 250. Shit, a horse like Woolawin would be very interesting there, but it's first up 1,400. Gee, it's not much of a race. Sandpaper's flying. Water goes... probably Coast Watch will go there. 57 would make sense to go there, I guess. Amenable trial, good. First up, 1400. Yeah, you think they go there. Got so many options, these bloody horses. Straight Charge is spelling, is it? Yeah, I haven't heard great things about it, to be honest. And I was probably his biggest fan. Anyway, yeah, most of these races, I'm most interested in probably Mare of Mount Buller early. I think she'll go pretty close, but you know, Uncle Waller, you never know what he's going to do. So many options for those mares to go wherever they want, so I don't think there's much there early. Yeah, it's only coming off a let up, isn't it? He'll probably put Mitchell Bell on it just to drive everyone insane. He's one of the hardest trainers I've ever seen to catch in my life, Nathan Doyle. He does some weird things and his horses mix form and seem to find a lot of trouble. And then, you know, I don't know, he's just really, really tricky to get. Really tricky to catch. Why is this thing going mental again? Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, I think it's probably more of a Thursday night week this week. We'll know a lot more about the weather, acceptances and whatever. I don't think there's any huge edges to step into too early there. So I think Thursday will be interesting this week. Yeah, that's if we're still here, considering we got the 400 mil of rain between Wednesday and Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, you just never know, Paul. He just loves putting strain. You probably fly Kobe bloody Jennings up to ride it or something crazy. You just never know with that fella. Mate, I love it. Bring it on. Bring it on. I'm going to buy a dinghy, sit out the front of the dinghy and just hope for the best. We were just watching a show on some bloke who buys dinghies cheap and fixes them up and sells them or something. We've got to buy a dinghy off him between now and Thursday. All right, see you guys Thursday if I'm still alive. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your help. Thanks for your input. We battle away. It was an interesting meeting. I think it'll be all right. Randwick meeting. Cheers, guys. See you Thursday. See you, Daz. Tapeworm. All the best.